Very, very, very despicable game. Guys, if Caitlin Clark going to be on many restrictions, we need not have Caitlin Clark play at all. At this point, she need not even touch the basketball court. She was literally playing her 3 minutes at a time. And
that reaction is one fan watching a real game in real time. By the final buzzer, he wasn't the only one asking why the Indiana Fever's franchise player barely got to touch the ball in her own return. On the one night, the whole league was watching.
I ain't gonna lie, I had to cut it off, y'all. I did not watch the whole game, but I was watching Twitter, bro. I mean, damn, this game right here was very bad. Derica Hamby was looking like Asia Wilson tonight. That's how bad this.
He's talking about Derica Hamby. And on July 8th in downtown Indianapolis, Hamby didn't need to play like an MVP to torch Indiana. She just needed to be left alone in the paint over and over. Final score, Los Angeles 106, Indiana 92. A 14-point home loss on the exact night Caitlin Clark was finally cleared to play again after 2 weeks out with a back injury. That combination, a bad loss and a big return on the same night, is exactly why this game blew up online within an hour of the final buzzer. Indiana came in having won 2 straight, including a blowout of these same Sparks back on June 27th, and sat at 12-8 on the season. Los Angeles came in having dropped 3 straight of their own. One of those 2 streaks was always going to snap on Wednesday. Almost nobody expected it to be Indiana's.
I mean, Stephanie White, for all the people that try to say, well, yeah, be so mean to Stephanie White, listen to this stat line by the Sparks. Agumake had 24 points, Nika. Derica Hamby, 21. Erica Wheeler, 12. Ariel Atkins, 12. Ray Burrell, 22. They whole starter lineup had over 10 points. They had 3 players over 20 points.
Run the stat line back. Inika Ogwumike went for 24. Derica Hamby added 21. Erica Wheeler and Ariel Atkins each had 12. Ray Burrell put up 22 of her own. That's 5 different Sparks starters in double figures, 3 of them over 20 points. And Los Angeles did it without their 2 best players. Kelsey Plum was out with a leg injury. Cameron Brink didn't play either. Those 2 are supposed to be the foundation of the Sparks roster going forward, and neither one played a single minute. A Sparks team missing its top 2 scorers still hung 106 on Indiana's defense, with a veteran like Ogwumike and a role player like Wheeler doing damage that usually belongs to the stars. That's not one hot shooting night, that's a structural problem, and it's the first crack in the story everyone wants to tell about this loss.
And we haven't even got we haven't even got to the team stats yet. The team stats are catastrophic bad. Indiana Fever shot 43% from the field, but guess what? They let them shoot 51% from the field. They had no answer for inside the paint, around the paint. Hell, they even need a paintbrush at this point. That's how bad it was for the Indiana Fever. They was 11-34 from 3. They shot 32%. They let the Sparks shoot 45% from.
Indiana shot 43% from the field and still lost that battle, because they let the Sparks shoot 51% right back at them. From 3, the Fever went 11 for 34, 32%, ice cold all night. Los Angeles answered by hitting 45% of their own threes. Sparks starters and bench players alike were getting whatever look they wanted, off the dribble, in the paint, standing in the corner, uncontested. When one team is more efficient than the other from every single spot on the floor, that's not a bad quarter. That's 40 minutes of a defense losing every single rotation. Efficiency gaps that wide usually mean a defense is a step slow on rotations all night, not just careless on a handful of possessions. And that's the kind of pattern that shows up again the next time this roster is shorthanded.
3. We're talking the LA Sparks. And as of right now, I don't care what nobody says. I hate Kelsey Mitchell with a passion. I mean, she just blatantly refuses to pass the ball. She just, at this point, she's the ultimate ball hogger I've ever seen. I mean, Caitlin was wide open like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And she just shot the ball. Just completely deleted Caitlin Clark as if Caitlin Clark was an option player, not the first option. guys, it was just bad to watch, man. I want to see Caitlin Clark.
That's one fan's read on the tape, and right now, it's the loudest argument circulating on Fever social media, that Kelsey Mitchell, who finished with 29 points on 9 of 18 shooting, was hunting her own shot instead of feeding a returning Caitlin Clark. Whether Clark was actually wide open 9 or 10 separate times is something you'd need to chart possession by possession to prove, and nobody's produced that film yet, so treat that specific count as one viewer's frustration, not a verified stat. What isn't in dispute is the shot distribution. Mitchell attempted 18 shots, Clark attempted 12, in far fewer minutes than usual. On a night when Indiana's franchise player was already playing on a restriction, that split is exactly why the take is spreading online, fair or not. But if you're waiting for the real reason Clark was in and out of this game every 2 minutes, it isn't about Kelsey Mitchell at all, and it doesn't show up until you go back 2 weeks from Wednesday night.
So bad, bro. Like, judging from Iowa to this, I know Lisa Bluter has to be pissed off with what they did to Caitlin Clark and what she created, because Lisa Bluter played a pivotal role helping create the Caitlin Clark we all love. And for her to be sitting here and allowing her to just go through what she's going through, is just beyond me.
Lisa Bluter coached Clark at Iowa for 4 seasons and built the offense that turned her into the most watched player in the history of women's college basketball. The run that got her drafted first overall and turned every one of her pro games into appointment viewing. That part isn't really in question, and neither is the frustration underneath that reaction, because it's capturing something real. Fever fans watching their franchise cornerstone get managed like a liability, instead of unleashed like the weapon she was in college. But frustration isn't analysis. It's worth remembering Clark was never a minutes restriction kind of player in college. Bluter ran her 35-plus minutes a night in tournament games with barely a second thought, because at that level, the calculus was simple: win now. A professional front office managing a multi-year asset through a long season has a different set of incentives entirely, and that gap is exactly what's fueling this frustration. To actually understand why Stephanie White handled Clark this way on Wednesday, though, you don't go back to Iowa City. You go back to June 24th.
Now, here's the rotation, 22 rotation. Swag said 3 minutes, and she played 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. What the hell? And then for this last one, he said 4 minutes. Discussing what the F. Her night, Sir Mitchell will arrive shortly to duel you to death. See, man, Kelsey Mitchell fans are diabolical. Let them come on, bro.
3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. That's Clark's rotation pattern through the first half, in and out, before she could ever string together a live possession. For context, she's averaging over 21 points and better than 8 assists a game this season when she's playing full workloads. On Wednesday, she played 16 total minutes, spread across 6 separate shifts. And this wasn't the first time fans have seen this exact pattern. Reporters covering the team noted it was a flashback to a similar stop-start rotation White used earlier this season, one that also ended in a blowout loss, that time to the Portland Fire, a game that made headlines of its own for the same reason. And yes, the Kelsey Mitchell fanbase is a genuine phenomenon online, equal parts funny and relentless. But even her most devoted fans weren't the ones drawing up that substitution pattern. That was the coaching staff, and by every account, it was deliberate.
Oh, this is a funny ass picture, bro. She's I'll put this in a thumbnail. Left off. How the hell is she meant to get in rhythm? Yeah, Caitlin Clark is a rhythm player. She has to be in rhythm in order to get going.
He's not wrong that it's a hard image to defend. Clark standing at the scorer's table, waiting to check back in for a 4th or 5th time in a single quarter. She's a rhythm player. Everyone from her college coach to her current head coach agrees on that. So why manage her this way in the one game every Fever fan had circled on the calendar? Here's the part that changes how you should read everything you just watched.
But let's finish getting through this box score, man. The Indiana Fever shot 71% from free throw. Bro, they gave up how many offensive rebounds? Defensive rebounds. 30 defensive rebounds to them. to their 29. So in the second half, they turned it around because they was getting slaughtered defensively in the rebounds in that first half. And 8 steals, 17 damn turnovers, bro. You're not winning a game with 17 turnovers, bro. I don't give a damn who you playing, bro. 17 turnovers.
Start with what's actually in that clip. Indiana shot 71% from the free throw line, but barely got there all night. And they lost the defensive rebounding battle 30-29, which sounds close until you remember how many second chance looks that handed a Sparks team already shooting over 50% from the field. Then there's the turnovers, 17 of them by Indiana's own count. And you don't rack up a number like that on one bad shooting night alone. You rack it up when 5 or 6 different guys are being shuffled in and out before anyone can settle into a rhythm. Now here's the context missing from almost every hot take about this game. Clark hasn't played a full, uninterrupted workload since June 24th, when she left a loss to the Phoenix Mercury after Alyssa Thomas made contact with her throat, driving to the basket. A play the league office reviewed afterward and suspended Thomas 1 game over. Clark also came into Wednesday still managing a back injury, the same injury that kept her out of Indiana's previous 2 games entirely, including that 111-87 blowout win over these same Sparks on June 27th, a game Indiana won by 24 points without her on the floor at all. She's no stranger to setbacks like this either. She appeared in just 13 of Indiana's 44 games last season, and she's already missed 3 of the team's first 20 games this year. Put a scary hit to the throat, and a back that isn't fully cleared next to that injury history, and a cautious stop-start return stops looking like coaching malpractice. It starts looking like a medical decision. White has said publicly this week that she's simply following what Indiana's medical staff has cleared Clark to do, and that her long-term health matters more than any single night's flow.
Now, y'all can't blame this on Caitlin. Y'all just cannot blame this on Caitlin at all. Now, how many points did Caitlin Clark have, man? Caitlin Clark had 9 points in the total of 16 minutes. She was 4-12 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, 0 free throws. Y'all know she ain't going to get her calls. She had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, and 1 steal. Kelsey Mitchell, 29 points, 9 of 18 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3.
Here's the full line so you have it in one place. Clark finished with 9 points on 4 of 12 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3, 0 free throw attempts, plus 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 turnovers across those 16 minutes. Her plus-minus for the night was -16, meaning Indiana got significantly outscored every second she was on the floor, which tracks exactly with a player getting pulled before she could ever find a groove. That's roughly 12 points and 5 assists below her season average, produced in a fraction of her usual minutes, which is precisely the kind of line a minutes restriction produces, whether the restriction is the right call or not. On the other side, Kelsey Mitchell carried the offense by necessity more than by choice. 29 points on 9 of 18 shooting, 5 of 9 from deep. With Aaliyah Boston out and Clark limited, somebody had to create points, and Mitchell is the one who actually did it. It's worth saying plainly, a guard putting up 18 shot attempts while carrying the offense in her teammates' absence is a completely normal basketball outcome, not automatically a sign of selfishness, even if the timing made it feel that way to fans watching Clark struggle to get going at the same time.
But let's go to one of my favorite X accounts and let's pull up Fire Stephanie White. And the floor spacing when running back pick and rolls is horrible. Shout out to Coach Anderson. He said the Fever lacks so much in terms of basketball fundamentals. Their screens and screen possessions are so bad. Most of them struggle to read the floor. Their dives to the basket are slow and delayed. Very much slow. I'm not going to lie. I'd rather not play Caitlin. I'd rather Caitlin not play if Stephanie is going to do these dumb spurts.
Chanting to fire a coach after one bad loss is standard sports fan behavior, and on its own, it doesn't mean much. But the structural critique underneath it is worth sitting with. The analyst referenced in that clip, identified only as Anderson, argued that Indiana's screening and floor spacing broke down repeatedly, that cuts to the basket were late, and that several Fever players struggled to read the defense in real time. That's a specific basketball complaint, not just frustration, and it lines up with a Sparks defense that kept finding wide-open shooters every time Indiana ran a simple pick and roll. Whether that falls on the players or on the system Stephanie White is running is the actual basketball debate here, not just whether Clark got enough touches in the minutes she had. A team can be right to protect a star's health and still be running sets that make it harder for anyone, healthy or not, to score efficiently. Those are two separate problems, and Wednesday night Indiana appeared to have both of them at the same time.
I hate these damn rotations. Also, we got to get another big because we're definitely missing it without Aaliyah Boston. That was something that was brutally going into this offseason, was that a lot of people was complaining about the Indiana Fever being a very small basketball team. And if Aaliyah Boston goes down, just like she just did tonight, they're going to be in no heap of trouble. And guess
Aaliyah Boston didn't play Wednesday, and her absence is the other half of this story that keeps getting buried under the Clark and Mitchell debate. Boston is averaging north of 17 points and 8 rebounds a game this season and is Indiana's only real interior anchor. It also wasn't a clean injury report night beyond her. Sophie Cunningham dealt with back spasms before tip-off and still played through it, visibly favoring her back for stretches. Take Boston off the floor entirely, add a limited Clark and a compromised Cunningham, and the Fever were effectively down 2.5 of their top players against a Sparks team that, shorthanded or not, still had 5 different guys who could put the ball in the basket. The questions about Indiana's front-court depth that followed this team into the season didn't go away over the summer. They just got exposed in front of a national audience.
How many points was scored inside the paint? Let me see. How many buckets was inside the paint? They scored 60 points in the paint on the Fever, bro. 60 points, 27 fast break points. 27 fast break points, 60 points in the paint. That is a total of 87 points, bro. 18 points off foul. That's pretty much the game. They had 27 fast break points, 60 points in the paint, and 18 foul points.
60 points in the paint, 27 fast break points, 18 points scored directly off Indiana turnovers. Add just those 3 numbers together, and you're already past 100 of the Sparks' 106 points scored in transition, in the paint, or gifted off a live ball turnover, the 3 most avoidable categories in basketball. That is not a story about one cold shooting night or one controversial substitution pattern. That's a defense that couldn't get back in transition, couldn't protect the rim, and couldn't take care of the ball, all in the same game, against a Sparks team that was missing its 2 best scorers. When all 3 of those numbers spike together, that's rarely one problem. It's usually 3 problems happening at once, and it's the kind of collapse that shows up on tape long before it shows up in a box score. Fix the turnovers and the paint points probably shrink too, because a lot of that damage starts the moment the ball changes hands in the backcourt, not after Los Angeles has already set up a half-court possession.
This is embarrassing, bro. As an Indiana Fever fan, this is distasteful, dog. I can't even lie. I just cannot wait to see what the excuse is going to be at the conclusion of this one. But definitely get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this one, man. If Caitlin Clark going to be playing like this and it's going to be not in rhythm and all of these different set things going on, I don't want to watch it, man. I just got to be honest. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this at all.
That reaction from an actual fan of this team is the real temperature check here, more than any single stat line. It also doesn't match how the night started. Indiana actually led 25-21 after the first quarter and pushed the margin out to 10 points early in the second, before Clark went to the bench around the 7-minute mark of that quarter and the offense stalled out completely. The Sparks closed the first half on a run, took the lead for good, and never really let Indiana back in it. So this wasn't a team that got run off the floor from tip-off. It was a team that had a genuine lead, lost its rhythm the moment its best player sat down, and then never found it again for the rest of the night. And the timing makes all of this worse, because there's almost no time to fix any of it before the next game. Indiana plays the Phoenix Mercury on the second night of a back-to-back, and Clark is expected to sit that one out entirely to protect the same back injury that shaped everything you just watched tonight.
I mean, it was a very, very difficult watch, man. Indiana Fever started off fast and looked good, but Caitlin Clark went out at the 7-minute mark or something like that, and then she came. It was ugly, man. But get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this. Keep them bells on, and hopefully we got some positive looking forward.
So the version of Caitlin Clark that Fever fans are frustrated with tonight isn't even the version they'll see on Thursday. She won't be on the floor at all, which leaves the real question hanging over this whole game. If Stephanie White is genuinely protecting a player who's already been hit in the throat once this season and is still managing a back injury on top of it, then a rough, disjointed loss on July 8th is a price worth paying for having a healthy franchise player in October. If the rotation itself is the actual problem, a stop-start pattern that's now shown up more than once and cost Indiana a lead it actually had, then this exact kind of loss repeats itself every time this team plays a close game the rest of the way. Both things can be true at once, which is exactly why this is still being argued about a full day later. Which red do you buy, the medical caution or the coaching misstep? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you want the next Fever breakdown the moment it happens, hit subscribe.